When I was in the 10th grade, I was a string bean working at Tim Hortons. My life really wasn't very interesting, and I didn't have any unusual hobbies. That changed very quickly, all because of some YouTube recommendations. Beekeeping videos had snuck into my suggested video feed, and out of vague curiosity, I clicked. At this point, I was of the mind that I would never touch a bee in my life, and I knew nothing about them. But something about those videos really fascinated me, and the more I watched, the more they were suggested. And the more they were suggested, the greater my intrigue grew. It was inevitable. Soon after these videos had flooded my feed, I wanted to have my own beehive. I was confident that I would avoid getting stung. As you'll see, I was very, very wrong. And so, after buying the equipment and a starter kit from a local co-op, as well as the book Beekeeping for Dummies, my parents drove me a couple of hours to get bees from another beekeeper. I was ecstatic. At this point, I thought the hardest part of beekeeping would be not squishing the queen. I had no idea the challenges I would face. At first, I was getting frustrated with how much it was costing. A few $100s for the bees, a few $100s for the rest of the equipment, $400 for my extractor, and this was all before I had gotten a drop of honey. I worked past it, using my Tim Hortons money to fund my hobby. I managed to get some honey off of my bees in my first year, and then they went to sleep for the winter. I didn't think about them much after that. Not until spring rolled around, and my beekeeping responsibilities returned. I opened my beloved hive for the first time in the spring, and was met with a gut-wrenching sight. A small cluster of bees, about the size of a tennis ball. Too small to ever recover. I was devastated. I had lost my only colony. I thought about giving up, but I had already spent so much on my equipment. So, I went and I bought 2 more hives, doubling down my efforts. I extracted more honey that year, and they survived the winter. I split the 2 hives into 4 the following year, and split them again into 8 the year after that. I went into the winter of my 4th year confident that I would be able to beekeep as a part-time job the next year. I was 1 round of splits away from having almost 20 hives. I still watched beekeepers on YouTube, but my taste had changed. I didn't enjoy beekeepers that pretended to never get stung. I wanted to watch beekeepers who had lived my real experiences. That spring, I was struck a crushing blow. I opened my hives up, and the knife was twisted further with every lift of the lid. 7 of my 8 hives, dead from starvation, cold, and various other causes. I was back at square one with 1 hive. If you're enjoying this video, please leave a like and subscribe. Anyways, this time, I really did think I was going to quit. I didn't have the money to replace all of the hives, and I didn't have the will to build myself back up. For a while, I just wallowed in my own pity. But my father wasn't going to let me give up so easily. He said that if I had built up that many hives before, I could do it again. And he was right. I split my hive, and focused this time on creating 2 very strong hives. I began pulling in larger harvests, and selling the honey to help fund the purchase of more medication and more equipment for my hives. I started a YouTube channel about my bees, and that brings us to now. I currently have 2 hives, and am in the process of acquiring some more. I'm making these videos to try and spread some knowledge about the hardships of beekeeping, and I hope you enjoyed this video. There's more on your screen right now if you're interested in clicking them.